The Bold and the Beautiful B&B recap for Friday, August 8th, reveals that Hope Logan Annika Noel slapped Grace Buckingham Cassandra Creech over her scam. John Finn Finnegan Tanner Novelin also had to hold furious Liam Spencer Scott Clifton back. So here's how Friday's B&B episode went down. At Forrester Creations. Katie Logan, Heather Tom, was taken aback over Bill Spencer's Don Diamont news about paying $1 million for Liam's experimental surgery. However, Bill would have been willing to pay far more and considered Grace a miracle worker. Although Bill acted like a tyrant in the past, he was glad to have another chance to do things right and have a better father-son relationship with Liam. At the Spencer mansion, Liam and Hope worried his cancer was back, but Grace assured them that wasn't the case. Hope and Liam were relieved as they started singing Grace's praises again, but Finn pushed them to hear the truth. Grace came clean about there never being any cancer at all since she faked the scans following Liam's brain bleed. Liam also found out that the procedure was fake and that he'd been given medication to make him think he was getting worse. Hope realized there were $1 million reasons for Grace to do this and eventually snapped about her being no better than Reese Buckingham, Wayne Brady. As Liam realized what all this meant, he lunged toward Grace in a fit of fury. Finn stopped Liam from attacking Grace and got him to calm down a bit, but Liam was still livid. Grace tried to explain about the bookies that were after her as well as her daughters over Reese's old gambling debts. However, Liam and Hope clearly didn't have any compassion for Grace considering how low she sank. Hope stepped forward and slapped Grace across the face before calling her sick. After Liam ranted about what Grace put his family through and how she'd robbed them of months of their lives, Grace vowed to turn herself in. Finn said he'd take Grace to the police station. So Hope embraced Liam once they were alone and processing all this. At the hospital, Lee Finnegan, Naomi Masuda once again refused to give Sheila Sharp Kimber Brown info on Luna Nozawa's Lisa Yamada remains. After Lee picked the dropped drugs off the floor and left, Sheila found a stray bottle and mulled it over. Sheila eventually knocked on the door of Lee's place and pretended she was a delivery person. When Lee opened up, Sheila tried to worm her way in since she suspected Lee was using drugs to cope with Luna's death. Lee blocked Sheila from entering and left Sheila in pain since her foot was jammed in the doorway. However, Sheila finally managed to barge inside and pulled back the curtain to reveal a very much alive Luna the Bold and the Beautiful. Spoilers say Luna's coma awakening is rapidly approaching, so we'll bring you updates on where her story will go from here. CDL single quotes as the place to be for the hottest Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, updates and news, so make us your top B&B source. Friday's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful crackled with tension, betrayal, and a slap heard round the Forrester Creations offices. Relationships were tested, secrets exposed, and one explosive confrontation had everyone in the room holding their breath. The fallout from Thursday's clash. The morning opened with the lingering chaos from the previous day's tense exchanges. Grace Buckingham, never shy about making her opinions known, had cornered Hope Logan in the design office. Grace's voice dripped with accusation, her arms folded tightly across her chest. She accused Hope of meddling in Paris's love life, hinting that Hope's involvement in Carter's romantic choices was anything but innocent. Hope, who had been juggling her own emotional turmoil with Thomas and the fallout from Liam's anger, tried to keep calm. She insisted she wasn't interfering. Her focus was on her designs and her family, but Grace wasn't having it. She pushed harder, questioning Hope's loyalty and calling her a Logan who's never met a man she couldn't take. The insult struck like a match on gasoline. Hope's eyes flashed, and for a split second she seemed ready to walk away. But when Grace stepped closer, smirking in triumph, Hope snapped. A sharp, echoing slap rang through the office. The room went silent. Grace's head whipped to the side, her eyes wide with shock. "Don't you ever talk to me like that again," Hope hissed, her voice trembling with controlled fury. Grace, clutching her cheek, muttered something about Hope being just like her mother before storming out, heels clicking like gunshots against the floor. Meanwhile, at the Cliff House tensions between Finn and Liam reached boiling point. Liam had shown up unannounced, still fuming about Finn's apparent forgiveness of Sheila Carter. His jaw was tight, his voice sharp. "You're supposed to protect Steffi and the kids, not invite danger into their lives," Liam accused, stepping forward until he was practically nose-tunes with Finn. Finn, who had been trying to stay calm, explained that Sheila's reappearance wasn't something he had planned. He stressed that he was doing everything in his power to ensure Steffi's safety. But Liam wasn't buying it. You've already let her in once. How can Steffi trust you? Liam barked. Finn's patience wore thin. You don't get to question my marriage, Liam. You may be Kelly's father, but this is my family now. That comment was the breaking point. Liam's fists clenched, and his body tensed like a spring, ready to snap. He lunged forward, shouting, "You're not man enough to keep them safe." Finn reacted instantly, grabbing Liam by the arms and holding him back. The two men grappled in the living room, their voices raised in angry shouts. You think you're the hero, but all you do is cause chaos? Finn shouted back, his grip tightening to keep Liam from landing a punch. Better chaos than letting Sheila near our kids. Liam fired back. It was a standoff, neither man willing to back down. Both fueled by love for Steffi but blinded by their mutual resentment. Steffi steps in, hearing the shouting. Steffi came rushing into the living room, her hair slightly damp from the shower and a towel draped over her shoulders. She froze in the doorway, eyes widening at the sight of Finn restraining Liam. What the hell is going on here? She demanded, her voice sharp as glass. Both men started speaking at once, their accusations tumbling over each other. Steffi held up her hand, silencing them instantly. I'm not doing this, she said firmly. I will not stand in the middle of a testosterone-fueled screaming match. We have bigger problems like Sheila. Tearing each other apart is exactly what she wants. Her words hung in the air, heavy and true. Finn let go of Liam, who stepped back, but kept glaring at him. I'm here because I care about you. And the kids, Liam said to Steffi, his voice softening slightly. And I'm here because I'm your husband and I love you. Finn added, his tone more defensive than romantic. Steffi closed her eyes, inhaled slowly, and said, then start acting like it. Both of you. Back at Forrester Creations, after Grace stormed off, Hope tried to shake off the confrontation. She threw herself into work, sketching new designs and instructing an assistant to prep samples for the afternoon meeting. But her hands trembled slightly, betraying the adrenaline still coursing through her. Thomas entered the office mid-morning, immediately sensing something was off. What happened? He asked, his eyes narrowing as he scanned her face. Hope brushed it off, saying it was just Grace being Grace, but Thomas pressed. When she told him about the slap, Thomas actually chuckled, saying Grace had it coming but warning Hope that such a public display could cause waves. She's not going to let this go, Thomas cautioned. Grace holds grudges, and she knows how to stir up trouble. Hope nodded but insisted she wasn't going to apologize. If standing up for myself makes me the villain in her story, so be it, she said. Grace Fiennes and Allie Grace, meanwhile, was in full outrage mode. She found herself in the Forrester break room, loudly recounting the slap to anyone who would listen. Paris tried to calm her mother down, but Grace wasn't having it. Hope Logan needs to learn her place, Grace said, sipping a coffee like it was a glass of wine at a high society event. She's already ruined enough lives. Zende wandered in mid-conversation and overheard. He raised an eyebrow but didn't comment, at least, not directly. Instead, he suggested that maybe they should all focus on work instead of personal grudges. Grace shot him a look that could have frozen the Pacific Ocean. Still, by lunchtime, Grace had already managed to make herself the wronged party in several sympathetic ears, planting seeds that could grow into full-blown office gossip. Brooke gets wind of the slap. Word travels fast at Forrester Creations, and it wasn't long before Brooke heard about the incident. She marched into Hope's office with her signature concerned mother energy. Tell me, it's not true, Brooke said, arms crossed. Hope sighed and explained everything, from Grace's insults to the moment she lost her temper. Brooke's expression softened, though she still warned her daughter to be careful. The Forresters and the Buckinghams are already prone to drama, Brooke said. We don't need to give them more ammunition. Hope appreciated the advice but stood her ground. I'm not letting anyone talk to me that way, she said. Not anymore. Liam makes a choice after leaving the Cliff House. Liam went straight to Brooke's place, where he knew Hope would eventually be. He found her alone, sipping tea on the back patio. They talked, argued about Finn, Sheila and Steffi. Liam admitted he was losing his temper more often but insisted it was because he felt helpless watching Sheila hover around the edges of their lives. Hope listened, but her own frustration bubbled up. You keep running to Steffi's rescue.